Hemmed in by mountains on one side and Lake Garda on the other, Limone was impossible to get to for centuries. The first road wasn't blasted through until 1931. Now, Limone is the center of an amazing medical discovery. Almost 50 residents here are protected from getting heart disease. And doctors are finding out what this means for the rest of the world. The story begins in 1694, when Cristoforo and Rosa Giovanelli had a son, Giovanni. Through painstaking genetic detective work, experts found that an error in a blood component in some of the residents could be traced back to Giovanni. For centuries, Limone's isolation forced villagers to marry within a small circle of families, and this genetic error trickled down from generation to generation.
Probably God made an unusual mistake, because when we have a genetic error, this leads to disease. Whereas this genetic error will lead to apparent well-being, and this is...
Dr. Cesare Sirtori is a professor of pharmacology at the University of Milan. He's the one who tracked down this genetic error, and it all happened by accident because of this man. In 1974, Valerio Dagnoli went to Milan to see a specialist for an ailment unrelated to heart problems. He had to give a blood sample. When doctors saw Dagnoli's test results, they were amazed that he hadn't had a massive heart attack.
This man was about 40 at the time. He had very high triglycerides, about 700 to 1,000. High cholesterol ranging between 3 and 400. And he seemed to be unresponsive to therapy.
Here's what this means in layman's terms. Our blood contains cholesterol. In cholesterol, there are good guys and bad guys. Low-density lipoproteins, or LDL for short, are the bad guys that clog up arteries, which leads to heart attacks. However, high-density lipoproteins, or HDL, are the good guys because they get rid of the bad guys. Dagnoli's blood was loaded with bad guys and not even close to having enough of the good guy cholesterol.
The only thing I found was that there appeared to be no death in his family due to cardiovascular disease, and he was very healthy.
After 6 years of collaboration with the Gladstone Foundation in San Francisco and numerous blood samples from Limone townsfolk, Sirtori hit the jackpot. Almost 50 residents here don't get heart disease because a genetic error changed one of the proteins in the HDL good guy cholesterol. Sirtori calls the miracle protein 1-melano. He's isolated it and demonstrates how it works. The hazy substance in the test tube is the bad guy cholesterol.
We add just 1 drop of the solution of 1-melano. We stir it up quickly on a mechanic stirrer, and that's it. See, it has all of a sudden clarified.
The 1-melano protein acts like a super turbocharged dump truck that picks up and disposes of the bad guy cholesterol at least 10 times faster than normal. It also makes blood platelets less sticky, preventing clots forming in arteries. But what does all this mean for the carriers of the golden gene?
They feel blessed by God. They just do anything they want. They will never be on a diet, never stop smoking, never do anything which is, by our concept, quote, good, unquote. They will lead a very happy and inordinate life.
A cousin, Gemma Dagnoli, shows the family tree and points to her relatives who have the magic protein. Dagnoli's son, Marco, and daughter, Valeria, have it. Dagnoli is philosophical about it all. He says he doesn't mind giving blood and being a human guinea pig, and if it leads to a successful fight against heart disease, it's worth it. Scientists are still studying all the possibilities of this apparent miracle protein, and doctors say the news is encouraging that the 1-melano protein could be available in the near future for the public. The Italians have just reached an agreement with a Swedish drug company to manufacture it. Neil Lundy, Global News, Limone.